Thank you for joining me. I'm April Marie Aguilar here in High Point, North Carolina at the brand new state-of-the-art facility, the Go Forth Elite Performance Center with Carolina Core FC. And today I'll be speaking with a legend, Eddie Pope. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me. But I want to mention, with the club in its second season, how do you continue to push the envelope in order to achieve the desired result?
It's just working every day, working hard every day, making sure the players are working hard every day. I'm trying to make sure that we look a little bit before, a little bit beyond, the next day and the next day, try to have a little bit of a vision, setting goals that are out in front of us, trying to achieve those goals, making sure the players are achieving those goals, as well as the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm. And how does the mind of a former U.S. soccer legend translate to that of CSO?
I think just for the most part, just trying to make things better than I had them. So I'm thinking about all the little bit of pitfalls that I may have gone through, whether that's on the field or off the field, trying to make things easier for players, try to give players advice on the field. So sometimes it is putting on the cleats and going out and trying to disseminate the information that I had as a player and moving that on to them. So those are some of the major ways. And then obviously trying to perform at the best of my ability as a CSO, as sometimes a coach, but then making sure that they have something like this, a training facility where they can apply their trade.
So I'm told you're the first to arrive and the last to leave. How does that level of commitment contribute to the success of the organization?
Yeah, I think just making sure that I'm setting an example for our coaching staff and our players. Sometimes the players leave after me, sometimes they're here before me, same thing with the coaching staff. But I think that something like that can be contagious. I think it's important, especially when a club like this is in the second year. We're just getting started. So we need to make sure that at a minimum, we're working as hard as we possibly can.
And I just recently visited the National Soccer Hall of Fame, where you've been inducted. Despite that, you seem like a very, very humble individual. So how does somebody at your level stay so grounded?
For me, I think it's the game humbles you at all times. So the second that a player or anyone becomes a little bit haughty, the game will humble you. On the field sometimes, off the field sometimes, as a CSO, as a coach, where you might lose a game that you should have won. Soccer has a strange way of doing that for everyone.
And earlier today, we had the opportunity to attend practice. I saw you taking some forwards aside and giving them some pointers. How does somebody with your experience not only instill what you know, but at the same time inspire them throughout the process?
Yeah, I think players are interesting, right? Players, obviously I was a former player. One of the things that they do pay attention to is where you've played, what you've done. So I think, we've as a coaching staff and myself, we've checked that box. Our players are very attentive. They're like sponges. They like to listen. At the MLS NEXT Pro level especially, that is a developmental league. So players are trying to develop, and it's our job to make sure that we're helping them through that process. So I try to take some of my past experiences, some of the things that I've gone through, like I was working with a forward, so I'm trying to tell him, hey, here are the things that I don't like that forwards do as a defender, and making sure that he understands those and that those are just options for him to choose from. He's not a robot, but just trying to help him unlock other defenders. And so we try to pull guys aside at times and work with them.
So that's the knowledge that you teach out on the field. What is something that you're instilling in them outside the pitch?
I think so. For us, one of the things that we do have is a player development program where we will teach them, how to handle their finances. We have them, our captains and a couple of other players, going through a leadership course through a company that works with the club. Sometimes we'll do some fun things like cooking courses because they're young.
Right.
Most of them are bachelors, so to help make sure they're eating properly when they have the opportunity to cook for themselves. So we try to do some fun things off the field as well. And then I just think tactically, a lot of them are super young. The game changes so quickly that we try to sit down with them and help them understand tactically, not only just the game in general, but especially what we're trying to do.
At this point in time in your career, what is something that you ultimately hope to be remembered for?
That's a good question. I think just someone who worked hard, someone who believed in U.S. soccer, American soccer, someone who's wanted to really help grow the game here. Especially now being in the position that I'm in and helping to develop youth players and push them onward to MLS and hopefully the national team. And maybe even other national teams, moving them on to Europe as well, but especially growing the game here in the United States.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.